So today we're on to our last assignment in the packet, the Visual Theory 2, our color wheel assignment. And what you're seeing here is what you're going to produce. And we've been talking a lot about color from a technical point of view in this course. Being able to see subtle differences of color are really beneficial when it comes to making adjustments when we're actually printing. And the color wheel itself is designed to help you in the print room when you're looking at a print. You know that the color is off, but you don't quite know what to do. And you could be able to match up, or the idea is you can match up the color and you'll know how to correct it. If you're looking at a picture down on the right here, the magenta, you know that the picture is too magenta. The way to fix that is to give it a plus 40 green, and that's going to bring it back to our neutral point right in the middle. And the assignment that we were doing last week was doing exactly that, when you were making color corrections using the color balance tool. Of course, there are a lot of different tools in Photoshop that you can use, but we're going to stick to the color balance tool for today's assignment as well. A couple of kind of points about color though, and this image, all of these wools were dyed using natural dyes, vegetable dyes. And the person who showed me this said, the amazing thing is with natural dyes, you can mix any combination of color together and all of them will go together and work really well. They said it's only artificial man-made dyes that clash. But in the natural world, colors don't do that. And I think if we look at the range of colors here, that they will fit together really, really well. But, well, the other thing we were saying last week was when we're looking at our images, trying to figure out if the color is correct, if we're in a room that's got ambient light that's a specific color, or the background is a specific color, that's going to have a major impact on things as well. I'm going to illustrate that by just changing the background color on this. It's going to hurt your eyes. It becomes very difficult to be able to pick out the subtle differences of the color as we see these different colors at play. Let's do a green and see what that looks like. And finally, I'm going to do a red as well and see what happens when we're looking at a red background. It becomes very difficult to be able to see those colors. And in a sense, what we're doing here is simulating if we were looking at our monitor and there was a red wall behind us, it would become very, very difficult for us to figure out what the background should look like. So we're going to create the document, our standard size, 8.5 by 11 at 300 ppi. And the image in the middle here, you'll see is bigger than the others. This is going to be 2.5 inches high at 300 ppi. So this is our start image. And whoops, there we go. That's the one I meant to close. And this one is already sized to, 2.5 inches high. It's a little higher than the others, 300 ppi. Hit OK. And, let me see, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. The first thing that we need to do is create a new file. So from the drop-down menu, File, New, and I'm going to recommend that you use a landscape format document. So the width is going to be 11 and the height will be 8.5. 300 ppi, RGB color 8-bit and with a white background. And now we can go back to our start image, drag that off of the top board there, use our move tool. If I hold my shift key down as I drag it across, it will center it right in the middle of the picture. I've got my rulers switched on, and remember to get the rulers on and off. The view, drop down menu, the rulers here, and once they're on, that allows me to drag down a guideline from the top here. If it's going to behave, here we go. And actually I'm going to bring that down to that point here, and that will help me line up the images that we're trying to create. The critical thing on this assignment is that we have our images lined up correctly. So our correct color in the middle, and top left is going to be our green, and the opposite of green is magenta. And it's very important that you get the magenta on the other side of the color wheel. At the top here, yellow, at the top right, on the bottom left, blue. Blue's always tricky because it doesn't really look particularly blue uh, to the untrained eye, but it is nonetheless, that's what's going on, and it's very important that we get those colors like that. Red and cyan are opposites, so we need them to be opposite on the color wheel as well. Okay, so let me see. Here's our image. Now for the other images on our background, we need this image to be smaller, and bear with me, let's get it back. Sorry about this jumping around. Image size, I'm going to make this 2 inches high, and I'm on the wrong file here. Great. Height now is going to be 2 inches high, and I'm going to drag this across and line it up accordingly. And actually the way that I'm going to suggest you do this is drag all the files on and then adjust the color on those individual layers afterwards. So let's just go ahead and drag this image across multiple times and get it lined up on the color wheel. I'm going to recommend that you jot down and make notes of the position of these various images and the colors that they need to be. Let's get another guideline, or use the same one up here. And we'll drag the guideline down here now. Oops, not that. So of course the color on all these images right now is exactly the same, and we're going to go in and make adjustments to the color, and then afterwards we'll need to label these as well, so that we know exactly which color is which. All right, correct color right in the middle. If I go back to the guide image here, let's start at the top here, 20 green. So if I go to my layers palette and start down here, well actually we'll start to the left, and that will stack very easily as we go through. So that's going to be cyan, minus 20 cyan, and if I use the color balance tool, image adjustments, color balance, this is the tool that we were using the other day. If I go to cyan and I'm going to go minus 20, hit OK, and that should make the adjustment to that image there. The next image, this one here, is going to be minus 40 cyan. And we're good with that one. Next image in the stack, off to the right here, the opposite of cyan, remember, is red, so we're going to be plus 20 red and plus 40 red on each of these images. Image adjustments, color balance again, and plus 20 red on the first one, and the next image here, it's going to be plus 40 red. And here, if we look at this image and this image, then you really can see the difference in color. The idea is that ultimately we print this out and we have it physically with us in the print room when we're printing. If you're looking at an image that you've printed that you know the color's incorrect, you can use this as a guide to help you. All right, let's go on to the next image, see if we can build this thing. So next image up here, we go back to the guide, that's going to be green. and to the bottom right will be the magenta setting, but green first of all. Oops, what happened there is turned off, but that's good. Color balance, 20 green. Next image, it's going to be 40 green. Image adjustments and color balance. I'm using the slider here. It's a kind of slow way of doing it. You can go faster and work it out using the numbers. So here we're going to have yellow off to the top right, and so again plus 20 and then plus 40. Next image in the stack, top right, this is going to be 40 yellow, and we'll put in minus 40 to pull it over to that particular point. Actually, no, I did that wrong, excuse me. Okay, it's just like being in the classroom, isn't it? Okay, we're getting there bit by bit. Down to the bottom right, this is going to be our blue. If we go back to our guide image here, plus 20 and then plus 40 blue. So back on here, image adjustments, color balance, and blue up here, 20 blue, and the next image in the stack will be 40 blue. Bottom right hand corner, this is where it's going to be magenta, the opposite of green. And as I say, just getting these the right way around is really important. Our last image in the stack is going to be 40. And on the sliders as well, you can see there cyan red, magenta green, yellow blue. So that should be a real helpful guide for you in putting this together. Okay, so that's our colors in place. Now we need to label it, and it's called a color wheel, of course. So that's what we're going to call it, using the text tool. It's a little small, isn't it? So let's make that a little bit bigger. And in addition, I want you to label each of these colors accordingly as we have on here. So 20 green, 40 green, 20 magenta, 40 magenta, and so on. So your color wheel ends up looking like this. I'll just do a couple of these. No need to do the whole thing. Let's go 12 point down here on Arial. So right at the top here, it'll be 20 green. And we can move that around to get that in the position we want it to be. Over here, 40 green. Down at the bottom here, opposite of green is going to be 20 magenta. Okay, I'm out of time on here, but you get the idea and you know what you need to do. So get that in done today and we'll be good to go.